have the institution.
We have them. They are weakened.
It's because the IG is appointed by Mr. President through the PSC, that Police Service Commission and all that. So now, who dictates what? Tomorrow, Mr. President can sack the IG. So when Mr. President gives IG an order, who is IG to say no or to question Mr. President's order?
It too far.
And I mean,
you have taken. Magu was removed here with ignominy. They said he did this, that. So many things were said against him. Has he been taken to court? No.
Until we get to a point like what happened in the last Trump saga, when a chief police stated, well, I am loyal to the Constitution,
not to the president.
Until we get to that point,
where we have men who were appointed by the government, by the president, but know the value of the position.
Very well, because Trump, don't forget that Trump Trump appointed a judge to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Thinking maybe he wanted
he was going to be able to use
Niger style. But he got it.
No, but sincerely, let's give it to President Donald Trump. We should give him a free visa.
No,
we should even give him a free green passport. Don't you think so?
He was relating with Nigeria well.
So
it seems suitable.
Some anki panky.
Suitable for our stand of democracy here. I knew from day one that he would roast himself, because this is America, where the institution they function. Not here, where you can.
But don't forget that he was able to tweak the institution a little bit.
Where did it end?
If you have two Trumps in America, you're likely to have.
At the day, it's still
the system. It will still fail.
Yes, I agree with you.
There's a working system.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
And everyone there, they are patriots. They are loyal
to the
Constitution,
Even
to their country.
Colin Powell, one of his interviews before he died, said that they owe not the president any loyalty for the Constitution. But here,
the United States of America. Okay, so we move to the Nation newspaper, and I'll just speak about a few stories before we focus on the particular one that I'd like us to talk about. Why APC is in crisis by Buni Reconciliation Panel. Eagle Perception Fueling Division. Panel with 47 petitions ask for more. That's the Nation newspaper. Ex-Imo governor and of course the current Secretary of State, Governor Tambuwal, is running for presidency. Peter Obi is still weighing his options. I love this one. EFCC slams 2.9 billion naira fraud charges on Okorocha and others. High Chief will withdraw suit to end Olubado's secession row. JAM to hold UTME May 6 to 16. CBN restructures forex bidding process. Apex Bank gives priority to local manufacturers, and revenue generating agencies get 3 trillion naira target. Oromoni's coroner's inquest stored fire gods of Basanjo's farm in Benue State. Now for Ekiti State primaries, 98 arraigned over illegal arms possession. I mean, that's about the only thing they can hold them for. But let's go to the Punch quickly. APC February Convention on Search and Peace Panel demands extension. Petition still being submitted. We need one more week, says committee chair. APC registers 41 million members. Governor rules out convention postponement. 98 suspected political thugs arrested by soldiers in Ekiti arraigned. Those pushing for polls without restructuring, political criminals. Kagani Adams is talking there. Fair grips Ekiti community over influx of herdsmen and farms were decided. Now EFCC detains Medview airline boss for alleged $900,000 Hajj fraud. Malami to decide Electoral Act bill, and National Assembly transmits the document to Buhari. 243 firms jostle for CBN's multi-billion naira loan scheme. Okorocha unveils presidential bill, knocks zoning, ex-governor charged with 2.9 billion fraud. Senate rejects 3 trillion naira revenue for agencies. Customs fault finance bill. Federal government probes 17 firms over breach of customers' private data and high fines. Right, the Guardian newspaper. Adamu panel ask for time. February 26 APC convention shaky. Efforts to reconcile aggrieved chieftains inconclusive. The Guardian says we will carefully study interim report of committee Nnamani assures. Amechi announces delay in rail projects as China suspends the funding. And customs immigration raise alarm as revenue losses threaten 17 trillion naira 2022 budget. How Nigeria and others can leverage technology to boost energy access, transition by Kyari. National Assembly transmits reworked electoral bill to Buhari for assent. Balogun others withdraw suit, postpone Ibadan chieftaincy declaration review, and tourist kill 12 raise houses in Katsina. All right, we'll take a very quick and lastly, we'll take a look at this Nigeria newspaper this morning. This Nigerian newspaper, of course, has the headline story. EFCC slams 2.9 billion fraud charges against Okorocha. This Nigeria talks about troops kill 5 Boko Haram terrorists in latest attack. You have National Assembly transmits amended electoral bill to Buhari for accent. APC crisis. Don't ignore aggrieved members. Reconciliatory committee warns. Tender interim reports. Nigerians appeal work permits restrictions in UAE. As a Papa hoodlum stabbed Channels television cameraman and Arise crew missing. If we take an in-depth look at the crisis that happened at Apapa just yesterday, and I quickly like to take a quick look at that story, you have, because there are people, so we definitely must look at it. Our people, Channels television cameraman was, let me just say, he was affected by this entire thing that happened. And of course, Arise Television seems to be looking for their crew. They went missing after that incident yesterday. Apapa is one place that has become a concern for Lagos. The Vice President came, the President came,
so many
had gone, so many
There was one that was headed by a former Lagos Commissioner for Transportation.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it was all movement, motion without movement. And it still bothers me. Why do we keep having intractable and unsolvable problem in Nigeria? Power, we can't do. Energy, problem. Now, to manage the traffic around the port area. Unfortunately, so many companies that were in the Apapa earlier, while we were growing up, they are either dead or left that place. Until recently, the roads were very terrible. But I understand
the roads are better.
Yeah, they've gone.
Yeah, some parts of the road. No, it says the roads are better now.
They're now better. But the point is, why is it looking like it's a point that can never be resolved?
Well, you see, the crisis now, you know, one of the reasons why the potholes were a concern, especially for residents, is an opportunity for you to be waylaid and attacked and all that by hoodlums, by boys in that axis who are only looking for the day's meal. So you're likely to be on a bike in Apapa, driving back past and then riding past and discover that your phones are seized, collected from you.
Again,
you can't go in Apapa and carry your handbag like this on the bike. No.
The port area, the current technology that it deserves, because if they have gotten current technologies, cargo management has taken a level far away from where we started in Nigeria. We still run a system that is so terrible. I'll tell you an experience. I imported motorcycle from Japan. When my bill of lading came, I gave it to a young man who is brother to my friend. So at least he would make some money off me.
Yes.
Now, we had issues, and from 1 week to 2 weeks, so I had to be following him to the port. So one day, he just said I should bring 5K, that is going into an office, that the man there will take 5K before he will sign. And I gave him, because I desperately wanted my goods out. The rate was mounting, the rubberized part of the bikes would be melting. So the guy got in there, came out and said they are signed. When they showed me the bill of lading, I couldn't recognize because there were so many crazy signatures stamps that they couldn't make sense out of it. All I was,
but you know what they usually do is they count the number of those signatures.
At the end of the day, when the guy could not deliver, I had to withdraw my paper from him and then go somebody else. Guess what? Barely 2 days after, we were passing that same office, and I told the guy I was pressed. I want to please myself. He had to enter that place. Lo and behold, it was a toilet. So the guy collected money from me to enter a toilet. It was possible. I mean, this is my experience. It was possible because the disorganized way, the clearing of goods.
Yeah. So you gave 5,000. Oh, the place looked like an office.
Yes, it was a containerized thing, clean and tidy from outside, and with just one door, and of course it was air conditioned. So I had no reason what to believe in. Especially
so when you now enter and saw the toilets, you see the guy that is signing the toilets.
They showed me the weeping of ladies.
Those boys carry the stamps. They are the ones that are in charge of the things.
That, I'm sure nobody signed nothing. The guy just got in there, he peed and came out and told me it's been signed. You see, we have to move away from that. Ordinarily, Nigeria should be a clearing hub for West Africa. But what do we find? Our people now import things and divert it to Cotonou because it's a lot easier.
Because then they can truck it into the country.
That gives us a humongous loss of revenue. They've done so many reforms.
Yes, the customs and immigration are raising alarm now over bottlenecks and say that the 2022 projection, they are one of the highest revenue generation agencies, and they are saying that there are going to be serious challenges.
Well, unfortunately, it's unfortunate that we are not serious as a people.
How many of us? Please count
all
me
of
out.
Us.
Count me out.
All of us. Because
it's your generation that caused the problem. How can you be counting yourself out?
Whatever we see, whoever we put in place, that person was picked among us. Among us.
The society produced the person.
That person. And it's the same society we all live in that produced that person. It means that more or less we are all the same. That is not where I'm going. In late 80s, early 90s, that our papa, same our papa, we have houses and all that there, my uncles, my aunts. I mean, we don't joke with that environment is, all those
used to be like VI.
No, just not that. Our papa, the older, that was the place.
The hub.
That was the place.
No. Sorry, they call it Apapa Ile-Ise.
No, let's assume that. Okay, these trucks and all that started coming in, and don't forget time. As time and the world evolves, as time goes on, of course, you have more trucks, you have more people, the population change, business will blossom, more containers will come in, and all that. Now the question is that the only port we have in Nigeria? Or is that supposed to be the only port, functional port in Nigeria?
No.
The last time I checked, we had over 20
ports,
something in this country. Where are they? What happened to Calabar? What happened to? I mean, we have, but what as the same thing with refinery? Nothing is working, and we have leaders. Look, so you know why? Because why you can't get anything from our papa is because we are only dealing with the icing on the cake.
Not the cake.
The root is destroyed. I mean, sorry, the root is deep into the ground. So it's so strong. Even when you cut the tree, it will spring up. Until we go in there, we uproot that root. Why? How? By making sure that this whole country, we have ports in every place that we need to have. Functioning one. The one that need not come to Lagos should stay in Calabar. The one that need not come to Calabar should stay in Port Harcourt. The one that need not come to... So when we get these things done, then...
Would even open up...
That is number one. That is number one. Now, well, maybe thank God that rail probably is coming up to now. Maybe our people, maybe we'll concentrate also more on cargo that will go on rails and from port, rail all the way. So nobody is coming to the road. So we don't want to see any truck
on the road.
Now, that is...
Put your container
That is number two. Number three, the indiscipline and who would deal with me, because once you remember then when either with Fashola or whatever we pick trucks and seize and all that, and the next thing they say they are going on strike. They will go on strike, the truck drivers. And There won't be fuel.
They'll park their truck.
So we have now it's coming back to the people, and the next thing you hear your people say, no, please, this suffering is too much. Please go and release their truck, and that is it. So now they have told
and
you.
Guess what
this
you mean
is
by we
where,
are not serious.
Yes, this is where you have to park your trucks. They have numbers. When the time for you to come, maybe 10 trucks to come to the port at that time, come. Then the people unnecessary delay at the port. From one table to the other, and people to clear stuff may take days. Now, meanwhile, the truck comes and park on the road. And one day, I was, that was maybe before COVID. Yes, I remember. I was going to see my aunt. I was caught up in that traffic 6:37 p.m. I called the madam. Well, I'm on the way. Hopefully, I'll see you. It was a birthday, so I wanted to give a surprise one. I left office, and 6:30, by 3 in the morning, I was on the same spot.
Were you driving that car?
Not the senior old car, the other one, the red one.
Did you feel safe?
Sorry?
Were you feeling
No,
safe?
I locked the car, I walked, I moved away. I did not sit in the car. I came out from the car, I locked the car, and I walked away. Somewhere, okay, when you move, 3 a.m., we were there. In fact, the woman was coming, my aunt was calling, please go and sleep. I'm not coming back. I'll be fine, nothing will happen to me. I'll get home. I didn't get home till 5.
The next day.
Next day. Can you imagine? So that it is that bad.
So it is really that bad, and we're looking at bottlenecks already in raising revenue, and we just identified one big way of, making more money. Basically, open up the ports in other places. The congest Apapa Tinkan
should be digitalized. If that is done, they will handle more cargo within very little time and naturally.
What will happen to all the boys that they have already created?
When I say
what will happen to the boys they have created shops for?
It will reduce corruption.
What will happen to those boys that they have created shops?
Thank you.
Will be eliminated.
Thank you. That is why I said the problem is us.
It's like
all those people that you see there.
Yes, they're working for people now.
What I'm saying is the people you see there, they were picked among us.
Yes.
So all those people at the port that don't want to leave, because you see one small boy, you need to know the number of houses he has built.